Welcome to Counterculture-Wise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts, Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And with the meows of the Macamow, we start another Counterculture-Wise show. Welcome, 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 everybody. We have so much to talk about, and we're going to have a little bit of fun at a few other people's expense.
Yay! Always my favorite thing to do.
I know, it's our favorite thing to do. I am your hostess with the mostest, Mrs. Melanie Hope. And here, right next to me, right here in Counterculture-Wise Studios, with the dog and the cat and everybody else who's joined us, and the AC that is making a lot of noise, is my husband, my co-host, my partner in crime, my best friend, and my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis!
I can't imagine someone not understanding what erectile dysfunction is. I mean, it's not hard.
That was a little too loud. That echoed throughout the room. And the sad thing is, the minute you said erectile dysfunction, I immediately thought of a lizard that can't figure things out. Because, folks, that is how often I get to have the naughties. All right, so moving right along.
Oh, boy.
So much has happened this week.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy.
Such a fun week. But I'm going to let Jim start off with a sad commentary.
It's
the end of an era.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the end of the band, but they haven't put out an album in 12 years.
As we know it.
So, anyway, we are talking about our friends. Well, they don't know us personally, but if they did know us personally, they'd be our friends.
They would love us.
They would adore us. Aerosmith. They retired
and I
from
love
the road.
Me some Steven Tyler.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, ever since I saw him on the Drew Carey show, I just love him. Or was it? No, it wasn't Drew Carey. No, that was Alice Cooper. It was the manly men. He was their next door.
You mean
neighbor.
2.5 Men?
Yeah, he was their next door neighbor. It was hilarious.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was Alice Cooper that was Drew Carey's neighbor, and
I liked Alice Cooper.
You can see how Alice Cooper was Steven Tyler and Alice Cooper mixed up. I mean, totally normal.
Well, they were buddies, but anyway.
Yeah.
Aerosmith has announced their retirement from the road and scrapped the rescheduled dates of their Peace Out Farewell Tour.
Peace Out. That's a really good name for a farewell tour.
The band broke the news on Friday afternoon in an emotional statement. It was 1970 when a spark of inspiration became Aerosmith, they wrote.
Oh, it was 1970 when a spark of inspiration became me.
That's also true. Or, a couple, but too much Jack Daniels and whatever.
Knowing my mom.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Actually, my mom never drank hard alcohol. She was more of a beer person.
I knew I liked her. Anyway, thanks to you, our Blue Army, that spark caught flame and has been burning for over 5 decades. Some of you have been with us since the beginning, and all of you are the reason we made rock and roll history.
That's really sweet.
It has been the honor of our lives to have our music become part of yours, they continued. In every club, on every massive tour, and at moments grand and private, You've given us a place in the soundtrack of your lives.
True.
They then addressed the primary cause for the retirement from the road. Steven Tyler's vocal injury, which forced them to initially postpone their farewell tour after just 3 dates in September of 2023.
See, that's what happens when your lead singer has a vocal injury. You don't just go on being Journey.
You said the loud part out quiet.
I did.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Yes. You had John Anderson had asthma.
Prosthetics and continue playing like Def Leppard, that's one thing. But
yeah,
if you can't,
you
end the band.
Yeah.
That's how it works, Journey.
Yeah, they're past their prime. They become their own tribute act, but the thing is, people still want to see them. You saw them a few years ago.
The kid can sing. Don't get me wrong. The kid can sing.
Right.
And Sean can still play, but it's not Journey.
Right.
It's not Journey.
Back
to Aerosmith.
Yeah. They were scheduled to resume the tour on September 20th and stay on the road through late February. We've always wanted to blow your mind when performing. I would have loved to have seen them back in the day. And it's not like we didn't have opportunities. How many tours did they go on while we were alive anyway? As you know, Steven's voice is an instrument like no other. He has spent months tirelessly working on getting his voice.
I never understood how he was able to sing like that because it sounded like he was screaming.
Yeah. He has spent months tirelessly working on getting his voice to where it was before his injury.
Okay, can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
What was the injury? Did he get socked in the throat?
No, he just sang too hard, I guess, and just damaged his throat.
Too hard?
I don't know. He got a vocal injury. I don't know.
He's like a bajillion years old, right?
Well, he's in his 70s.
So doesn't Joe Biden have like a permanent vocal injury?
He has a permanent injury of many types. Anyway, we've seen him struggling despite having the best medical team by his side. Sadly, it is clear that a full recovery from his vocal injury is not possible. Well, we can look it up.
I'm looking it up.
You look it up while I'm reading.
I'm looking it up.
We have made a heartbreaking and difficult but necessary decision as a band of brothers to retire from the touring stage. We are grateful beyond words for everyone who is pumped to get on the road with us one last time, they concluded. Grateful to our expert crew, our incredible team, and the thousands of talented people who've made our historic runs possible. A final thank you to you, the best fans on planet Earth. Play our music loud, now and always. Dream on. You've made our dreams come true.
Oh.
The band also...
He fractured his larynx. Okay, that's not just an oopsie-doodle vocal injury. He fractured his frickin' larynx.
And does it say how it happened?
It just says it was during a performance in Elmont, New York. It caused bleeding as the vocal cords, which required a 30-day period silence, as recommended by his doctors. In addition to damage to his vocal cords, he had also fractured his larynx, so he did both. But it doesn't say how. And it says it's incurable. Led to the band's decision to retire. Okay, you keep reading, I'll keep looking.
Okay. Band also noted that tickets purchased through Ticketmaster will be automatically refunded. All of the refunds will be available at point of purchase. What's next? It's unclear what, if anything, Aerosmith has planned next. The band has not released an album since 2012's Music from Another Dimension, but guitarist Joe Perry recently told Rock Candy magazine that new music was definitely a possibility, but at the minute we're looking at the set for the tour and the songs we can play. He added, we're also remixing some of the early stuff and finding some interesting outtakes, so it'll be fun to look at that stuff. Perry
it just says the exact circumstances are not provided.
Okay.
That's all it says.
Anyhow, Perry also expressed his gratitude for every opportunity to play at this stage, comments that sound especially prescient in light of Aerosmith's retirement from the road. The issue with Steven shows you that freak things can happen, he said. You just don't know, so that's why every night that I go on, I play like it's the last show. So... I think they'll probably put out some...
how you sustain a fractured larynx is a direct impact to the front of the neck. They mostly occur during road traffic accidents, but they said this happened during a concert.
Yeah.
It says it's likely that the direct impact was related to his singing rather than a road traffic. How do you get... The exact mechanism is not explained, but it's clear that the trauma caused damage and is permanent.
Yeah.
There's something they're not telling us, because if they're being this vague,
I don't know. I don't want to go conspiracy theorist on these guys. They're going through hell right now.
Well, yeah, and he's not a druggie, so it's
not anymore.
Not now.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, he has quite a voice, or had quite a voice. I'm thinking,
of a kind.
I'm thinking they're eventually going to release new music, but it'll probably be like the Stones did with Tattoo You, and just use older songs and spruce them up a bit.
Well, I mean, even the Beatles are still releasing music, so
that's true. That's true.
Who knows what they're going to do next?
Yeah. Plus AI, you can do a lot of things with AI.
Oh no, that makes me sad.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I can't imagine AI and Aerosmith.
Aerosmith? Yeah, I don't know.
Tell me what it takes to let you go. Tell me how the pain is supposed to. I mean, come on.
I'm just saying, maybe not.
I don't know.
Let's move on to something happier and fun.
Happier and fun.
Yeah. One of my favorite celebrities in the world is Snoop. Old Snoop Dogg.
This is kind of fun because I remember reading about this relationship, but I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I showed her a picture and I said, here's Snoop with Martha. She said, Martha who?
I completely forgot about it.
Martha Washington. I have no idea.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Snoop's relationship with Martha Stewart. And I'm sorry. Dude's hilarious.
He's funny.
You gotta
He's
hand
really
it to
funny.
him. You gotta hand it to him. All right, so let's look at this. I gotta make this big, make it pretty, make it so you can see it. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do some making it pretty. All right, Snoop Dogg leaves fans in stitches as he dons bizarre equestrian outfit to watch dressage with close pal Martha Stewart at Paris Olympics. Snoop the Stallion. Now, if there's going to be a stallion, it should be Snoop.
There's, of course, a play on Megan Thee Stallion, which we'll be talking about
later. And sorry, there's a whole big giant thing that is blocking it. But Snoop Dogg arrived ready for action at Saturday's dressage. Can't read it. Accompanied Martha Stewart. And they were dressed in...
I love that photo. Oh my God.
He really looks good.
Yeah, he looks really good.
He looks so good. Although... he could very easily join the Village People in that outfit.
That's also true.
Yeah.
He's just if it were blue and had a badge on the helmet, that'd be the end of it.
So he famously commentated on dressage at the Tokyo 2020. Oh, I didn't know that. So Snoop's into
he's into dressage, I guess.
I had no idea. When he referred to German writer Isabel Worth's mouth as a crip walking horse. That's hilarious. I have to go find that. That is now my life's mission, to go find Snoop commenting on dressage. Those things do not.
You wouldn't
that
think
old
they
Sesame
did.
Street. One of these things is not like the others. It's totally. That is where I'm at right now. Okay, so he was commentating on dressage. That's hilarious. Well, I mean, you think about that and Trump at the wrestling and Rush Limbaugh with NFL.
Right.
You don't put those two together, but yeah. The rapper and actor got to enjoy a fine performance from British writer Becky Moody. I mean, if you're going to be competing in dressage, you kind of have to have the name Becky.
Yeah, you do. Wait until you see the name of her horse.
Oh, no. Who clocked up a leading first-round score aboard her horse, Jaegerbomb.
Jaegerbomb.
Like, oh my God, Becky was riding Jaegerbomb is like totally a thing.
Those of you who are into Spike Jones will get the joke I just said. Jaegerbomb.
Yep, and there is Miss
Stewart.
They
adorable.
look so great. Oh my gosh. He's working for American channel NBC throughout the games and has enjoyed a busy time in Paris carrying the Olympic flame for a short leg. We saw that, the final relay, before popping up, at a number of events, including the gymnastics. Snoop Dogg, whose full name is Kelvin Cordozer Brodius Jr. Did I butcher that?
Yeah, majorly.
Okay.
Just Broadus.
Well, correct me.
Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr.
Calvin Parodies Jr. said of his time as a torchbearer, something I'm going to be able to live with, be happy with, is to know that I was the face and the voice of peace for that one moment in time, said Calvin Parodies Jr. The presence of Snoop Dogg certainly created a buzz about the venue, with Moody's teammate Carl Hester saying news of his arrival had caused a stir in the stables. You mean he got horses excited? Wow, maybe what they say about... Okay, not going there. He said, I didn't get to meet him, but of course the talk of the stables was that he was here and everyone was looking for him on the camera. It's great. He's enjoying dressage and he was here. But despite his passion for horses, Snoop Dogg has yet to ride one in his life. I'm still scared of horses. He's scared of them. Oh my, the 52-year-old admitted. Oh my, I had no idea. He's afraid of horses. How could you? All right, well, God bless him. I hope someday that we can talk the old Snoop Doggy onto a horse, because, well, depending on, as someone who grew up with horses, depending on the horse, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, that's another story about that.
And depending on the horse, there's a lot to be afraid of.
Yeah. I wouldn't have wanted to be on your horse. That sounds like a real piece of work.
Men. She did not like men.
Well, I don't like horses who don't like men. So
the thing with Charger is, I learned how to ride on her mama, Cheetah, and I learned how to ride on Charger. And what's really funny about Charger is that she was a completely different horse when there was a child on her back. Not even the same horse. But if you were an experienced rider, she was going to test that experience. That was going to be a thing. But the minute you put a kid, you could have somebody she didn't like on her back.
Right.
You could put she didn't like men and she really didn't like beards and mustaches. You could put somebody she did not like on her back. But if you put a child in front of them, totally docile.
I've never known of a horse that didn't like men with beards or whatever.
Well, when she was young here in Texas, they tried to train her up to be a rodeo horse. Well, first of all, most rodeo horses aren't female.
Right.
They're male, and the reason that they bucked so much is because you're twisting their balls.
Right,
okay?
right.
So in her case, they were smacking her with spurs and
just abusing her,
trying to get her to kick and rear.
Yeah.
And so she was literally abused by men with beards and mustaches, which is not common. It just happened that these jerks were the ones that had her while my mom was trying to retrieve her because she had moved up to Washington State because of me. Because I was a baby. And my father abandoned me and she had nowhere to go. So she ended up in Washington State and the poor horse got abused because of me. So I spent my whole life with a fuzzy sister who was born the same year as me. That I didn't find out till I was a little bit older that the reason why she was the way she was is because she was abused because of me. So yeah, live with that guilt, people. Good night.
Counterculture-Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
Hello. My favorite part of the show. Hey, I made that rhyme.
Indeed. Just the way you said it.
Okay, we got a couple of fun ones today.
Yeah. So, you like eggplant, right?
I love eggplant.
I love eggplant.
It's good for you.
It tastes yummy.
I make a mean eggplant parmesan, and I also make a good, lasagna.
Yeah, the eggplant lasagna she makes is out of this world. And I think we'd be able to make several plates of it with this.
Oh.
This is from Iowa. A gentleman harvested an eggplant weighing 8.33 pounds.
That is a big eggplant.
It looks like it's pumpkin sized.
Yeah, it looks like a pumpkin.
Yeah, and shaped too, as a matter of fact.
Well, it certainly doesn't fit the bill of the emoji anymore. That is
no.
Man, his porch is pretty. I love that hole.
It is a nice house.
I covered his porch.
So this was inspected by the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship's Iowa's Weights and Measures Bureau.
one grabs a fruit or a vegetable out of their garden and say, I think I'm going to contact the state, see, if this is a record.
Well, if it
breaker.
came out that gigantic, I probably would. I mean,
he actually broke a world record.
Wow.
So he's another Guinness guy.
Yeah, the previous one, I guess, was 7.21 pounds.
Whoa, he beat the snot out of that.
That's amazing. I mean, usually an eggplant's usually not more than...
I probably wouldn't even say
maybe a pound, maybe three-quarters of a pound, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an eggplant in front of me here.
Or shellac it, or what is he going to do with it?
Well, he does say he's going to have a plaque saying he had the largest
eggplant. Because I've
seen
those pumpkins. I mean, they can get up to thousands of pounds.
Right. Well, I mean, what good would be putting it in a display case? I say slice it up and let's have some Parmigiana. No, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's not going to...
Mod Podge it and it just stays that way forever.
Well, I guess you could probably do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd cook it. I'd cook it.
All right, this... just the headline of this next one is just funny as can be. Now, people, I've known people who collect all kinds of oddball stuff. Coca-Cola memorabilia, like ads and glasses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or cartoon memorabilia, or...
Which you would do if I let you.
Yeah. I'd have a whole room for it. But this
your
one...
LPs and the...
But yeah, the LPs...
This one's a little different.
Very. Never thought to collect these.
Of course she's a Brit.
Yeah.
A Newmarket pensioner with a unique collection of 160 bedpans is looking for a new home. She wants to sell her bedpan. Okay, Mary Jacobs, she's 77. She's not a bad-looking 77.
No, she's all right.
She hoped to find a buyer for them at an auction in Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire? Now we know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall.
That's just Lincolnshire.
Yeah. But no bidders. Aw, nobody wanted her bedpans.
I swear they're clean. I've washed them,
She started her collection in 1984. Oh, there's so many jokes that just write themselves. I used to help out at the jumble sales in the Newmarket Salvation Army Hall, she said. I saw a slipper bedpan come in and I bought it for 50p. And that was the start. I just wanted to collect something different. Well, you
qualified as different.
Yeah. You instead of selling them, you should open a museum.
The British Museum of Bedpans?
The BMBP. It'll go violent. Who wouldn't? And the best part is
there a restroom in here? Well, no, but
I was going to say she could rent. She could rent just a part of the Smithsonian, like in the basement, and so you have to go into the bowels of the Smithsonian in order to visit the bedpans.
Oh heavens!
Actually, that would be funny to just put a big sign up that says "No public restroom." Bedpans everywhere, but there's no public restroom.
Oh, it's a bridesmaid. No.
She said it snowballed from there, and I found myself going around so many places to add to my collection. I catalog and label each bedpan so I know where I bought it from and how much it costs. Most people think they all look the same, but in fact they are different sizes, colors, and shapes. They vary a lot. I like the one that says perfection on it. That's hilarious.
I love the Royal Seal logo underneath it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very, very,
very British.
She does not have a favorite, although she admitted to having a fondness for one with a blue and white pattern. But she said the rarest ones were those with the oddest shapes. But Mary, who was paid up to £18 for her gazunders, has decided enough is enough. I had a cupboard built to store them in my front bedroom, but I'm getting older and need to clear some space. I hope they go to a good home. They're clean, washed, and in fantastic condition. I would like to see the whole collection. I actually would.
They make it for an interesting video. I wonder if there is one on Facebook or something.
Well, I'll have to go see if we can find it offline. But yeah, if there is, we'll share that. And maybe we'll bid for it. We can have the old counterculture-wise bedpan museum. Have to pay for shipping. Imagine customs going through what in the...
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of those are ceramic, right? So yeah, the answer is no.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would assume that the older, more historical ones would be ceramic, but nowadays they're just plastic. And they look the same.
Right.
But Yeah.
The ceramic one that says perfection. That's the one I would want.
That's
just...
in Liverpool, even.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's head on into a segment that I'm just going to call Stupid Crooks. Oh, now see, that's why we can't have nice things. This next one is a doozy.
Yeah. He looks like an evil scientist, but he's not that smart.
No. Like I said,
I'd like to call my Maine man because he's from Maine. Okay.
That is one heck of a shiny dome he's got
That is,
going on.
and I've got a shiny dome.
All right, so he wore a black winter hat, sunglasses, and a black mask covering his face to do what?
Rob a bank.
How?
Let's find out. According to court records, 41-year-old Jason Arsenault pulled up to the drive-thru of the Key Bank on Gorham Road on South Portland on January 26th while wearing a black winter hat, sunglasses, and a black mask covering his face.
Okay, so he's in a car.
He's in a car.
With license plates. At the drive-thru.
At the drive-thru, using the pneumatic tubes to send an...
Put him up!
He issued a bomb threat in order to try and get them to... Of
car
course,
bomb! No cop alarms or we all die. $50,000 in 20s! Do you think any bank on the planet has $50,000 in 20s just sitting around?
Well, the teller complied.
No way!
Sending money through the pneumatic tube, which Arsenal took before driving away.
How would $50,000 in 20s fit in a pneumatic...
I'm pretty sure they weren't doing it all 50,000. They were doing it as much as they could stuff into the pneumatic tube at a time.
But they actually sent it?
I don't know how much he actually did go away with, but he did
Why
take...
didn't they just say, oh, sir, hold on just a second. That's going to take me a long time to count, police. Hello?
Yeah. The South Portland, Maine, and Portland Police Departments assisted the FBI in their investigation. Detectives used surveillance cameras to track the vehicle's movements, and they found him. Captured surveillance image of him without his mask on.
He's at a bank where he's on camera.
6 days after the robbery, he was arrested.
With a car with a license plate. 6 days? It took him 6 days?
They had to borrow some from Uvalde. I don't know. I have no idea. He faces up to 20 years in prison and fined for $250,000.
I still can't believe they actually sent the money. I'm blown away by that because...
Well, because they don't know. Maybe he was serious. Maybe he did have a bomb and he could take the bank out. You don't really know.
I'm pretty sure that somebody...
But it wasn't...
The fact that he was driving a car with a license plate...
And why do I have this feeling it's like a 79 Cutlass or something, just some totally...
Dodge Dart
or some god-awful thing.
It's like...
It doesn't say what...
No, this guy's so dumb. He was probably driving like a grape purple Cadillac with fins. Like, oh, they'll never recognize me.
Or an AMC Pacer with a hanger for an antenna.
Looks like a Teletubby.
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh
He looks
dear,
like a Teletubby type.
All right. Well, believe it or not, another dumb crook. Now, this one I'm a little jealous of because we shop at this particular store quite often, and
that's true.
We've never gotten a present like this.
I know. That's because we got our bass guitar amp at Sam Ash instead.
That
I think
is true. We
that
did.
rather than
in Vegas.
Now that Sam Ash is no longer with us,
that's sad.
Just leaves Guitar Center. Plus, by the way,
you get the catalogs. I call it Guitaria's Secret.
Guitaria's Secret, yeah, from American Music Supply, yeah.
He drools over.
If I had my way, I'd have 47 cameras and 50 guitars. I just would.
And he doesn't know how to play them.
I don't. Who knows how? You don't have to know how to play them.
Like at all.
This is hilarious, though. Can you imagine? We'll talk about. We'll go. So. This happened in Gwinnett County, Georgia, which is out near Atlanta. And so...
And apparently it's not a one-off. Apparently this has happened all over the place.
Look out for a guy who's responsible for hiding thousands of dollars worth of drugs inside a guitar amplifier and shipping it to a local business. So I don't know. The employees were handling what appeared to be a standard box, got suspicious. The box had out-of-state shipping address was returned to Guitar Center. This is return addresses in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Employees opened the box, found coke and meth stuffed inside the amp. It's extremely rare this happens in any business, said Sergeant Colin Flynn of the Gwinnett County Police. You think, buddy? They think it's part of a larger problem involving the shipping of drugs to U.S. mail, and investigators think drug dealers have attempted this method before.
So what do? They go looking for the amp in the store somewhere?
I have no idea.
How did they recover it?
I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, there would have to be somebody working at the store.
Police don't think anyone at the business was involved in shipping the drugs. Well, what? I mean, I started thinking of a comedy sketch or a short film based on something like this where, you know, some schmo is working at a guitar store and just, like, finds all these drugs and decides to keep them for himself. And then, you know, the people who are a guy walks in and buys an amp. And, well, we have one extra. Well, there's one extra here and back. Here you can have it. And then turns out there's all kinds of drugs in the amp. He decides to keep it. And, you know, whoever's responsible for actually moving the drugs gets ticked off and tries to follow them and hurt them.
That sounds more like a novel than a sketch.
No, there you go. Time to get the typewriter lubricated.
Time to get the Luddite. Get the old.
No, I need to get my typewriter fixed or replaced. I'm thinking replaced. It got damaged in the move.
Everything
it got banged up real bad, and that's why when you buy, like, let's say you buy a used typewriter that's refurbished or whatever on eBay, well, they charge more for shipping than they do for the typewriter because it has to be shipped very carefully. You can't just, and these guys just tossing stuff everywhere. So my beloved typewriter that my wife so lovingly bought for me is damaged to the point where it would take about $200 just to fix the thing.
And it only cost me $35.
So there it is.
Forget it. That's too bad. That was a nice old typewriter.
I mean, I still have it. It's barely functioning.
It's barely functioning.
Barely functioning. Just like me. All right.
Okay, next up is another incredibly dumb.
This is
I almost wasn't
Florida
gonna tell
man
this,
level.
Yeah, I almost wasn't going to tell the story, but it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. I cannot believe. Okay, so this guy is riding a motorcycle with a pit bull in his lap, and that's not enough. He runs a red light, doesn't use his signal, and he's speeding. But that's not enough.
It's not?
No.
Tell me more.
So, he had meth in his sock. He didn't have a license plate.
He also had weed,
marijuana, paraphernalia, and active warrants. It's like, dude, if you have active warrants and drugs on you, you don't put a pit bull in your lap and drive crazy on a motorcycle.
Well, he was determined to be he was under the influence of drugs. www.youthink.com.
Yeah, a little bit. But luckily, happy ending. The pit bull turned out to be very friendly, and it says the dog willingly took a ride in a patrol car.
Get me away from this guy. Get me away from this guy. Get me away from this guy. Woof, 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 whimper, whimper. Get away from this guy. Yeah.
I just, honest to God, how many... Him and Pneumatic Tube Guy need to get together because it sounds like...
Pneumatic Tube Guy.
They'd be like the opposite of the evil villain, you know, what was that, Hall of Doom or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right.
From the DC cartoon, yeah, I can't remember.
And this one isn't a dumb crud so much as just... Well, let's head on into the new abnormal, shall we?
We shall. Let's do it.
All right, so this Chinese woman is arrested for smuggling turtles, and it's not what you think, because that sounds like a euphemism for something that, Eric Swalwell would be doing with a Chinese woman.
And it wasn't like the chocolate-covered turtles either, was it?
No, it was actual pulled them out of the lake in Vermont turtles. She's trying to smuggle them into Canada so she can get them to China, where apparently they are, of course, an aphrodisiac. Because apparently in China, every bit of every animal in some way is an aphrodisiac.
Every plant is an aphrodisiac.
No wonder they have so many people. All right. So, yeah, she's been
But then
arrested.
they're sucking on bats, so what do we know?
She was arrested at a lake bordering Quebec for trying to smuggle 29 eastern box turtles, a protected species, into Canada by kayak.
Those are cute little turtles, too.
But, hey, at least she wasn't trying to send them over using pneumatic tubes. So I think kayak lady, pneumatic tube guy, and pitbull motorcycle dude, they need to introduce each other, maybe in prison. Because I'm telling you, we have like this new... Seriously, this is like a cartoon.
Why am I stuck in this tube, Mr. Rabbit?
Anyways, her name was Wan Ying. Arrested. So she was arrested June 28th, but for some reason this article was just posted. Staying at an Airbnb. She was about to get, not just any kayak though. It was an inflatable kayak. The turtles were in a duffel bag. And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I'm sorry.
They called Dudley Do-Right?
They literally called Dudley Do-Right on a Chinese lady smuggling turtles in an inflatable... You can't make this stuff up! You can't make this stuff up. So, they searched her heavy duffel bag, found 29 live Eastern box turtles individually wrapped in
So the
socks.
turtles individually wrapped, just like the candy ones.
In socks.
In socks.
In socks.
Hopefully clean socks.
These poor turtles. So apparently they are sold in the Chinese black market for approximately $1,000 each. So that was 48 grand she had.
So you said it was an aphrodisiac. Where does it say that in this article?
I looked it up offline.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, why would they want to buy... Why would they pay $1,000 for a box turtle from Vermont? Yeah. So, yeah.
Alrighty then.
Inflatable raft. Turtles in socks. Seriously, I don't even have to write any jokes.
It writes itself.
It writes itself. Writes itself. Okie dokie.
And let's go to my old stomping grounds of Cajon. Actually, I'm not. I've never been to Cajon Valley.
Of course, it's California, though.
It's in San Diego.
This is such a California thing.
So, from May 2022 to the beginning of March of this year, Cajon Valley Union...
Cajones.
Yeah, he's got some cojones. Cajon Valley Union Superintendent David Miyashiro averaged $19,000 in purchases on his district-issued credit card.
Okay, I'm not even sure I understand why a superintendent of a school needs a credit card at all.
Well, we'll find out maybe a bit more. I'm not sure. In all, according to credit card statements obtained by CBS 8 through a state records request, he racked up nearly $399,821 on his district credit card during that time.
How does it even have that kind of a limit? Well, every company I've ever worked for that I had a credit card for, it had a limit.
Yeah, a real limit, like
$1,000.
Yeah,
tops,
just to cover
and to cover
administrative expenses. If
gas,
it's something
stamps,
where you have to take clients to lunch or something, yeah,
right.
that's
and then I had to fill out an expense report,
right, and
justify it.
Okay, school board member Anthony Carnival said he's been left in the dark about the spending and how the. Okay, by the way. Includes thousands of dollars for professional conferences and memberships in education associations, as well as tens of thousands on private tours, airfare, hotels, fine dining, and catering. So, what this has to do with education in a district that is desperately in need of funds is really beyond me. His credit card pulls from public dollars as part of the district's $300 million budget to serve its 18,000 students. Board member Anthony Carnaval said he's been left in the dark about the spending and how the trips, hotels, meals, and private tours benefit the students and taxpayers.
Right.
I've tried to find...
It's not like he's in a position where he needs to schmooze or fundraise. I mean,
sure.
He's acting like a politician.
I try to find comparable spending from other superintendents. I can't. It's just astronomical, he said. Even San Diego Unified, which has a $1 billion budget versus our $300 million, I don't see their superintendents spending like this. Meanwhile, we have classrooms with needs going unmet. He pointed to data that shows that 43% of students did not meet standards for English language arts in the 2022-23 school year.
And I can vouch for that. My California students that are in the public school system.
Yeah, the worst.
Absolutely so far behind. And it's really funny because it's not the students, it's the teachers. Because these kids, I can spend 5 minutes with them and they're like, wow, I learned more from you today than I did from my teacher all year. Mm-hmm. And I heard that over and over again during the pandemic.
And she's not saying this to brag. It's about the state of the education there.
They don't, I mean, I got to kind of see how the sausage was made during the COVID lockdowns because everything was online and you could see how the teachers were interacting and the types of posts they had and the assignments and how lazy most of these teachers were. Not all, not all, but I mean, they have nothing going on, nothing at all. They're at home getting paid and they couldn't even be bothered to grade the kids' work.
Right.
Or bothered to learn how to use the programs that they were on. And some teachers were fantastic. I mean, they were on it. They used every possible resource. They engaged kids. They did Zoom calls. Other teachers were so lazy. They're just like, they would take photocopies of a book and and the questions, especially the English and some of the writing they had to do was so stupid. Stupid.
No, I'm not going to go into all the details, but this district's K through 8 student population is among the most socioeconomically disadvantaged in the county.
Well,
Nearly
I'm sure
3/4 of the students qualified for free and reduced price meals.
Yeah, I'm
you
sure
gotta be
glad
broke.
that he's getting.
You got to be broke to get that.
And he's getting luxury meals and hotels and everything, and that is kind of a theme that we have going on. All of these, like BLM and all of these, supposedly liberal helping people out, they're all corrupt. Mm-hmm. And these people are living lavish lifestyles. In fact, I think our next story is similar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar.
So this is, move this over so you're not looking at all the crazy ads and whatnot. The CEO of GLAAD. So that's the gay and lesbian something don't care. Lavish spending habits that include a Swiss chalet rental and renovation of her home office.
Because,
all at the expense of the non-profit organization, which relies heavily on donations to stay afloat. So just like BLM, they always have somebody in charge.
Yeah.
Who is. We need to start our own thing. We need a thing.
I need to be a superintendent of a gay rights organization. That's what I need to be.
Nose Pickers Anonymous or something.
Yeah.
Let's just pick something.
Yeah, so to speak.
And start getting. Problem is, you're an old white guy, so ain't nobody gonna care about what happens to you.
That's okay. We'll just get a few other old white guys, maybe some with guns. And
we'll make it the Old White Guy Alliance, and say, start sending money. We're the Old White Guy Alliance. Jeez Louise.
The League
of
of Extraordinary White Mofos. Anyway.
We'll just say we're so poor that we have to, cartoons back in the days, if like the guy was so poor he couldn't afford clothes, he'd wear a barrel.
Right.
It'd be a Cracker Barrel.
And that's where we'll have our meetings.
The Cracker Barrel, there you go.
Because I like eggs and bacon.
Collard greens, yum, yum.
Yum, yum.
Yeah. Ooh, I want grits for dinner. Let's go. So, GLAAD CEO Sarah Kate Ellis, of course she has 3 names, of New York Times investigation published Thursday looking into her spending, with sources telling the newspaper that Ellis's profligate habits look more aligned with for-profit companies rather than a non-profit organization.
Uh-huh.
Some of the receipts could be in violation of IRS rules. Ya think?
Yathink.com.
For years, GLAAD has been a favorite charity of Hollywood elites and studios,
Of course it has.
which have showered the organization with
I
money
used
and
to support
showbiz
them
prestige.
back in the day.
Yeah.
A billion years ago.
Celebrities frequently appear at GLAAD fundraising events, as do studio and talent agency exec. Well, what do they actually do, though?
They advocate for the rights of gays and...
Okay, but they have the same rights, so what do they actually do now?
They fight for representation in the media. They seem to be doing a fantastic job.
They were kind of
Yeah,
overcompensated.
they've overdone it to the point where they're not needed anymore. So these guys are like...
Yeah, I mean, the ACLU and all of these things, it's like, what are you doing? You got all the same rights. You know, nobody can discriminate against you, so why do these organizations even exist anymore?
Don't know.
Earlier this year, GLAAD pressured Hollywood studios to create more transgender characters for TV. I put the S in there because apparently the editor couldn't be bothered to read their own work as part of the organization's wholesale shift toward prioritizing transgender issues over gay issues. See? The mentally ill have taken over every organization and the government.
And this lady is
instead
profiting
of
from it.
treating the mentally ill, we are now celebrating
Treating
them.
themselves off of the mentally ill.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
The Times report threatens to upend GLAAD's status among those elites. It's already unleashed a war of words between the Times and GLAAD. GLAAD has accused the Times of running the hit piece in retaliation against GLAAD's vocal criticism of the newspaper's series of articles questioning the safety of transgender medical procedures for children. Meanwhile, the Times has stated it stands by its reporting.
For once, I'm with the old gray lady. This is...
For once.
Yeah.
So GLAAD on their Twitter account yesterday, New York Times published yet another biased anti-trans article. This morning we're at the New York holding them accountable. You know, if you even point out the fact that you want them to leave children alone, that's anti-trans. There is no such thing. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, and I will take any shade and anybody who wants to come at me. There is no such thing as a trans child. You are just a sick pedo. Leave children alone. I'm not going to read the rest, but you get the idea.
That's all you need to read.
That's all we need to know.
So there's all kinds of people making money off of the backs of off the bucks of well-meaning people.
Off the backs and off the bucks.
Hmm.
Well, speaking of off the backs and off the bucks,
what we got?
Well, let's talk about the Olympics a little bit.
Are you saying
since we are talking about the transes,
yes,
the transes,
we're going to bring back an oldie but moldy from 3 years ago. I guess we were more prescient than we thought.
There's another one that we called as well. And when I was looking through our old
archive
catalog, when we were talking about how we're never going to get the mask off, and they kept doing all the shutdowns and everything, when we still lived in Vegas, and we actually animated Max reading all the new variants.
Yeah,
and we nailed that one because they're still coming out with variants to this day. But,
fortunately, the public's not buying it like they were before.
One of the just throwaway lines was that President for Life Kamala Harris. And that was just a throwaway line. And I'm watching that, I'm like, oh no. We called that too.
Oh.
But yeah, this is a moldy oldie. But let's play our fancy new stinger, shall we?
Yes.
And now, Counterculture-Wise is proud to present Called It! It's been a while since we've been able to do that.
Oy.
Okay, so let's talk about the Olympics and what's going on there with the... Well, I just kind of made a hodgepodge of at the time we were only audio, so I've never animated this or anything.
Right.
But I thought it would be a good backdrop for a particular event that took place at the
in Paris
at
a
the
few
Olympics.
days ago.
Yeah, so here you go.
And now with a CCW sports update, here's Monica Taffler.
Thank you, Larry. I am here at the Texas State High School Girls Wrestling Finals, where one athlete has been steadily making her way up the ranks and has been projected to become the next state champion. Let's meet Jessica Montez. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Monica.
Well, Jessica, you have made quite a splash here in the wake of President Biden's order allowing transgender girls the right to compete without discrimination. Congratulations!
Well, thank you. It's a new day for girls like me, that's for sure.
Speaking of girls like you, Jessica, you have been criticized by many people in the community, teens and adults alike, as not a real girl, but a boy taking advantage of the new rules to gain competitive advantage and to feed your ego.
Nothing more than professional jealousy, Monica.
Well, that may be. But last year, when you were a male wrestler calling yourself Jesse Montez, you were dead last on your team and were cut out from participating on that team this year due to low expectations.
Well, that coach made a big mistake. But either way, I am a girl, always have been. And this is where I belong now.
But you still have a voice. Well, you know.
I know what?
Oh, I mean, no offense, but it's protruding. You haven't got rid... Oh, let's change the subject.
Good idea.
Did you have anything you wanted to say to your most recent opponent, Fiona Jerkins?
Fiona, you were a fierce competitor and the best athlete I've ever met. It was an honor to square off against you, and you will be missed. Rest in peace, Fiona.
For CCW Sports, this is Monica Taffler. Back to you, Larry.
Laugh or cry at this stuff.
I
mean, seriously.
I don't know which direction to go, I'll be honest. That's a man. And there's a lot of debate. And, this, that, and the other. That is a flat-chested, ball-carrying, Adam's apple-having man. And if he, she, it was born with both parts, or he, she, it, whatever... Sad. I'm sorry. Life is tough. But here's what I don't understand about this whole wave of trans, and I'm using the big quotey fingers, trans athletes competing in women's sports. Why? Why do you have to have all the things? It used to be, we just want to live in peace, leave us alone. Now it's, I want to beat the living Christ out of a woman. I want to go to the women's bathroom. I want to mess around with children. I want to twerk in a dress in a library. Why? Why do you need all the things? Just keep it to yourself.
There's a time and a place for a lot of this. I mean, I have no issue against drag queens at all because if you are, I mean, with the condition that it's in maybe a nightclub with just adults, they're consenting adults,
well,
that's fine.
It is an art form.
Mm-hmm.
It is a sexualized art form. It is an adult art form. It needs to stay in adult places.
Right.
But you dressing up in, woman face, I mean, they're not passing. No woman dresses up like that. And, they're mocking women at that point. It started out, I mean, the whole Monty Python thing, it was a joke. They were making fun of women. That is what, that's what drag is, but not necessarily, not a lot of guys that did drag aren't necessarily trans.
Right.
Okay. This trans thing where we're actually mutilating children. We're sterilizing children. They're treating them like they're purse dogs in Hollywood. You're telling me that fewer than 1% of the between 1 and 3% of the entire Earth's population has this mental disorder, and it is a mental disorder, and they need help. They need help, and the fact that the suicide rate is so high is proof that it is a mental disorder. Don't blame it on society. Because once they do transition, the suicide rate goes up. So accepting them and all of this stuff, that's not helping them. They have a mental illness. They need help. You are not a girl. You are not Napoleon. You are not a puppy dog. And I'm not going to play into your little pronoun game and play into your mental illness. I won't do it. I'm not going to be mean to you.
Right.
I do not hate you. I do not want you anywhere near my children or anybody's children. And I certainly don't want you stripping, twerking, taking dollar bills in your underwear from children in public places. It's repugnant, it's disgusting, and you've got to stop. You've got to stop. So I lived in a very tolerant world where if you were gay, we just didn't care. You know, if you're a nice guy or gal, I have gay friends, got along, no problem, go out together, no big deal. And they were just normal people. But now they've taken it to this level where they're preying on children, they're shoving it down your face, they're walking around naked outside all the time. You took it too far. The slippery slope has been slid. And you're making people who did not hate you before, you're making them hate you. You're doing this to yourselves. Stop it. Stop. Just stop it. The whole month-long rainbow vomit thing, stop. Just stop it.
Vomit thing.
It's ridiculous.
It is kind of crazy. It's nuts.
But now women are literally being put in danger. That girl that, got her, was her arm broken or wrist broken by a basketball player who's a guy. The swimming guy that threw his Guinness World Record winning eggplant. He just walked around in the women's locker room, the swimming guy that I can't remember his name now.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't care. Anyway, it's not normal, it's not natural, and it should not be legal. If you need all the things, start your own league. Women's sports exist for a reason. Women have less bone density, less muscular. I'm looking for the word. I can't
muscular
think of it.
definition.
Whatever, I can't think of it. Anyways, men are bigger, stronger, faster, more powerful. Men abuse women because they can. And now they've just found a loophole that not only allows men to abuse women in a public space and get off on it, but they're celebrated for doing it. It's gross. And the problem is that women are not standing up for themselves. That woman that you saw just get beat down by that big dude didn't stand up for herself and even apologized. Even said that she hopes that he goes on to succeed. There's not going to be women's sports anymore. There's just not, because men have found a loophole and they are using it. And I think most of these guys aren't even trans. They're just like Leah Thomas. That's the swimmer.
Thomas.
I don't think he's even really trans. I think he just wanted to win.
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
And, if you've still got all your bits and pieces down there, I mean, come on, dude. If you're telling us that you're trans, come on, dude, get it done. Get that hatchet scar down there that you have to, it's constantly trying to close and you have to dilate and, go through all. See, that's the thing. No matter how many hormones you take, no matter how much lipstick you put on, you are never going to be a woman. You're not. You're not. And they know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Deep down, they know that. And to have all these white, liberal, white wine drinking, Kamala voting women trying to say, oh, trans, this, that, and the other. Honey, first of all, you're not one of them. And second of all, stop white knighting the mentally ill. Just stop. Just stop. Okay. I'll probably get in a lot of trouble for pretty much everything I just said.
What kind of trouble that you haven't been in before?
Yeah, I've been canceled so many times. I'm uncancelable.
She's got her own syndication network now. She's been canceled so many times.
Yeah,
She just
yeah.
runs it on her own network
Yeah,
now.
I'm uncancelable. Cancelable. I'm sure there's a word there somewhere. Because I've been canceled so hard.
She know can be canceled.
I know can be canceled. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not. And that's the thing. Like I said, no hate. There is no hate in my heart for these people. They need help. And to celebrate their mental illness is not helping them. To celebrate somebody's illness is harming them. That is hate. That is hate. Trying to get them help and, not playing their little game, that's not hate. And it's just gotten so twisted. So twisted. Anyway, what do you say we end on a high note?
I like that idea.
I found this video on the old twatters, and
I'm gonna let you handle this one.
An Olympic event that let's just say that after what this guy went through, I think he can box some Italian women. Oh. And not only did that hurt,
it's hurting me to watch it, and she's playing it over and over again, too. And I have to relive it every single ow. He
now sings soprano.
Frankie, do not look at this.
He now that's going to happen to you next month, Frankie. He now sings soprano for the Metropolitan Opera. He did not get a medal, though. My goodness, that is just...
just imagine training for literal years.
Literally years.
And that's your big moment.
How you go out.
And the whole, the literal entire world is watching you do this. Oy.
I would think for an event like this, you'd wear a cup, but nope. Boing, 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 boing. Anyway, I just had to bring that in after my little tirade. So, sorry, dude. I hope you get another shot. If you can walk.
I hope he's able to
get
another
Do you think he can walk?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's going to recover. I don't
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if he's walking now. I think eventually he'll with some training and some physical therapy, he'll be able to do so.
If you are listening audio only, you've got to go to our website and watch this video. The man pole vaults, and then his pole gets vaulted. And we're talking, he didn't just smack a sausage, he smacked the entire butcher's shop.
Entire butcher shop, yeah, the whole package.
I mean, I'm a woman, and that's making me squirm, so I love how I have to actually say I'm a woman. Hello, I'm a woman. Anyways, I just thought you needed to see that. So, you're welcome. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller. All right, we're still in the Olympics, but this is a good story coming out of the Olympics.
Indeed.
And Jim picks these stories and then dances around the house saying, I found one that makes you cry. I found one that makes you cry. So,
Neener.
Let's see if I cry. As a teenager growing up in Great Britain, Lola Anderson was inspired by the rowing events in the 2012 London Olympics. Moved by the athlete's strength and determination, she decided to take up the sport herself. I wonder if she's the one who sits up front and yells, "Stroke! Stroke me, stroke me." In her diary, oh, she's cute.
Yes,
in her diary, she expressed her dream of winning an Olympic gold medal in rowing. Embarrassed by her bold dream, Lola tore out the diary page and discarded it. I threw that away because I didn't believe, Anderson recalled. I was 14 at the time, so why would I believe? Young girls struggle to see themselves as strong, athletic individuals, but that's changing now. Despite her initial doubts, Anderson pursued rowing with her father's support. In 2019, as Don Anderson battled cancer, he presented Lola with a surprise. He unfurled his hand to reveal the page she had torn from her diary years earlier. Dawn had found it in the trash, kept it, believing she would need it one day. It's so sweet. Dang it. Dang it, Jim! Don passed away months later, but his faith in his daughter's dream remained. His prophetic gesture came to fruition on Wednesday when Anderson competed in her first Olympic Games as part of the women's quadruple sculls rowing team. Her team clinched the gold medal by a mere 0.15 seconds. That is a photo finish. Mm-hmm. After the race, Anderson reflected on her father's unwavering support. It's a piece of paper, but it's the most valuable thing I have, she said, maybe jointly with this medal now. Lola Anderson's journey from self-doubting teenager to an Olympic champion is a testament to the power of dreams and the enduring impact of a father's love. Okay, this is very well written.
Yeah, well written.
Very well written. What a sweet story. I wish he would have made it to see her win, but I'm sure he knows. Aww. That he retrieved that piece of paper and held on to it and believed in her so much that he held on to that.
That's a heck of a dad. That's one heck of a dad.
It's a heck of a dad. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss, sweetheart, but congratulations. Well, folks, we have come to the end of another Counterculture-wise show. We're working on a little bit of tweaking here at the old studio, and that includes our social media, so we might be doing a full-out purge, mainly of our Twitter account, and starting fresh. So stay tuned to get little snippets here and there of fun, weird things that we find along the way. And then, of course, our show will talk about it. And let's see what else we call. I think we should start actually making predictions in the future. Anyways.
We have already a few. President Kamala. Hasn't happened yet.
President for life, Kamala.
President for life.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we don't get to vote anymore, so I know.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
I'll do it anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a true joy being with you today. Whatever you do this week, please go forth in kindness. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.